I was listening to a podcast by Sebastian Morello and the Bishop of Trondheim, Bishop Eric Varden, on the European Conservative last week. And I don't know much about Bishop Eric Varden. I didn't read his books, but I thought the interview was fascinating. And they were talking about his latest book, Chastity, Reconciliation of the Senses, during the interview. And I said, I'll buy this book. I mean, the man has certainly a wealth of knowledge of meditation on this topic, and he came across extremely well in that interview. I do encourage you to go look at it. It's on the European Conservative. But I'm finding his book fascinating, and I'm sure this type of book is the type of book that'll end up it should be compulsory reading in seminaries. It should be religious houses. It should be laity should be reading this, because he goes into a wealth of depth that'll allow you to meditate on this virtue, which is so badly understood in the church. I remember in seminary, they used to talk about we make vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience, but on a very superficial level. The reason was, well, the founder hadn't a clue. Our founder, the founder of the community where I lived, didn't know what this virtue was, and couldn't disciple us. Now, I'm not saying that the Legionaries of Christ, were bad people, and there was a lot of people that did live this virtue extremely well. But it wasn't spoken about in a mature way, in my opinion. And that's, I have to be honest. And I think in other communities, people tiptoe around issues without actually talking about what's impacting them, And there's something I want to quote from this book. And it's on page 81 of this book. It's called Chastity, Reconciliation of the Senses. I thought this was very, very good. I'm just going to read it out to you. The love in us needs to be ordered, is not just the carnal kind. It can happen that disorder in the realm of physical passion coexists with order, with the beauty of order, as people like to say in the Middle Ages. In the higher sphere of charity, God, who sees everything from on high, will evaluate as a whole this parallel processes unfolding bewilderingly within the confines of a single life. The way to order for most of us is through disorder. To try to sidestep it is to risk sidestepping life. To be aware of it subliminally, of the disorder that I carry, yet to pretend it does not exist, is to entertain illusion. On that basis, no meaningful relationship, no spiritual life is possible. How can I ever be healed if I am determined to give the impression I'm not sick? I have come, declares the Lord, not to call the righteous but the sinners to conversion. Luke 5:32. If you admit the definitions proposed at the beginning of this section, we might paraphrase, I have not come to call those who are in any case walk straight, for they know where they are going. My mission is those who have taken the wrong turn. I call them proposing metanoia, a new outlook on reality. Christ, the fairest of the sons of man, Psalm 42:2, reveals order's beauty. I love that quote. Christ reveals order's beauty. But he is not surprised by our disorder, however shabby it may be. When we read the lives of the saints, we repeatedly see God's magnanimity in letting men and women act out lengthy spells of disorder preceding their awakening to grace, as if the 7 days of creations, with gradual distinctions, were reenacted in individual lives, as if we all had to make a customized Exodus journey home from Egypt. Not such a long journey, really, but protracted with several rebellions, delays, and misapprehensions. These too play their part in God's providence. They are meant to teach us something. You shall remember all the way which the Lord your God has led you for 40 years in the wilderness, that he might humble you, testing you to know what was in your heart, whether you kept his commandments or not. Deuteronomy 8:2. This remains the bottom line when it comes to confronting my disorder. I am prepared to own and name that which is in my heart. Will I, from the point of departure, let God call order and reform me? Let God's call order and reform me. I thought the whole book, it was really, really well written. It is a beautiful put together, a wealth of meditation on this. And I do encourage people to buy this book. It's on, I got it on Amazon, and especially seminary formators, seminarians, religious, is definitely something that you should have in your libraries. And I'd encourage people to read it and to look at the videos, the video that Sebastian Morello did with Bishop Eric Varden. He is a Cistercian, and he then was made bishop in Norway. So it's interesting. There's actually a Camino up to Trondheim, it used to be an old pilgrimage route as far as I'm aware, and they're trying to revigorate this. Someday maybe I'll try and do it. But anyway, just thought I'd recommend this book, and look at the interview that Bishop Eric gave. I do like his style and the amount of time he must have taken to actually research it and do it. Anyway, God bless you. Take care. Bye bye.